Today's episode of Gigi Says What Now? We will be discussing the Book of the Dead. You see, darlings, the Book of the Dead was a guidebook, a roadmap. It led the journey through the underworld into the afterlife. It was quite a treacherous journey, you see. One would face creatures of the dark, trials and tribulations and all that. All before meeting Meat, the goddess of justice, where their cold, bloody heart would be weighed against that of a feather. If one's heart was too light, they had lived too righteous or pious of a life, then they had not truly lived at all and would be condemned to eternity in limbo. If they had lived their life as an a-hole, the heart would be too heavy, they would be condemned to purgatory for all eternity. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. I've been there. It's no fun. But if the heart against the feather weighed perfectly in balance, then they would be allowed safe passage through to the field of reeds, where they would live for eternity and joy and peace, comfort, and all that. So you see, these papyrus scrolls. What happened to my accent? I'm just fucking around. I'm just an old lady on the internet talking trash about history. Okay, give me a break. Love you. In all seriousness, though, these papyrus scrolls were finely crafted and meticulously made for every individual when they died by members of the highest court, who would spend their childhoods as apprentices, working day in and day out. Work. Everyone was buried with the Book of the Dead of their very own. Even those of lesser means. The families may have to sell their organs to afford it. They would be less elaborate, but nonetheless, they were buried with the Book of the Dead. And I'm just kidding, of course. Of course. They didn't have a black market for organs. They kept their organs. They put them into cute little boxes with bows and pots, pottery, and took them to the grave. And no, of course, there weren't bows on the boxes. I'm just trying to be festive. It's Christmas. Holidays, Winterfest. Unless, of course, you're on the other side of the world where it is nice and sunny and warm. Of course, where I am, there's quite the chill in the air. Not under these lights so much, but hey, whatever. And there was a time where the ancient Egyptians suffered immensely. The economy was in the toilet. You know how that is. The price of groceries today and all that. The art of tomb robbing became quite the fashion, darling, quite the fashion. And these books of the dead, these papyrus scrolls, they were of no value, of little to no value, and they were quite often discarded or destroyed. So to find one wholly and intact is quite rare indeed. Once was a Book of the Dead scroll found whole and intact, and the man who had tried to interpret it and decode it, transcribe it as you will, ripped it into 3 pieces for his convenience. For real, though. He did. His transcription was published into a book called The Book of the Dead. Highly controversial book given to his douchebaggery. I once read this book. Yes, I did. I went to my local library. I put it on hold. I had to order it and have it shipped in from another state. I waited weeks, I tell you. When it finally came in, I went to the library and I snatched my hold off the shelf and I proudly proclaimed, "I have a Book of the Dead, Chub!" To which the librarian laughed out loud. This is a true story. Now, up until this point, my darlings, Up until this point, I had believed there was only one Book of the Dead written, and everybody got the same copy. The same way you and I get the same copy of The Shining. No. No. Each individual had their own roadmap of the underworld. Their own journey, their own trials, their own tribulations. And these books of the dead, these scrolls, they were never, ever meant to be seen by anyone other than the deceased. Whatever happened to the mummy that went with the book of the dead that this man destroyed? Who knows? Who knows what became of him? Perhaps the British ate him in attempts to cure a bellyache or a hangover or what have you. Today, those 3 pieces can be found in the British Museum. Because, all artifacts of antiquity automatically belong to the British or some shit. I don't know. I don't understand it. I think it's bullshit. Return the stuff to where you got it. Fucking thieves. But I'm not passionate about that or anything. No, am I? Thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of Gigi Says What Now. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. My name is Genevieve Gravel. I'm just an old lady that likes history, and I like to talk trash and tell stories. So hit that subscribe button and join me next time when we'll talk about something else random. Okay, remember, you're valid, you're worthy, and you're left. Bye.